Get ready for an exhilarating journey down memory lane as we dive into the captivating world of Lord of the Rings Online. We'll explore every thrilling expansion and exciting update that has breathed life into Middle-earth, from Bilbo's cozy front porch in the Shire to the distant shores of Umbar. Grab your walking sticks and let's embark on an adventure to see where the road takes us. It all began in 2007 with the launch of the Lord of the Rings Online Shadows of Angmar, brought to life by the small but mighty company Turbine. Players stepped into a stunningly faithful recreation of J.R.R. Tolkien's world, beginning their adventure in the enchanting lands of Eriador. Iconic locations like Bree, the Shire, and Rivendell awaited, offering a deeply immersive experience in the lore of Middle-earth. With the level cap set at 50, the formidable Karn Doom was the ultimate endgame destination. The Helstrom battle was a thrilling challenge with mysterious mechanics. One wrong step into the water meant instant death. If you didn't get off the bridge in time, you were done for. Raids were epic undertakings, often lasting upwards of 8 hours and spanning multiple days, as Karn Doom was vast and brimming with challenges to conquer. My favorite memory of those days has to be the time my kin held a fishing competition inside Urogarth. If you head to the right when you enter and clear out trolls, you'll find little puddles of water perfect for fishing. Nowadays, if you're a high enough level, you can solo Urogarth and Karn Doom. I admit, I sometimes go back just to relive those moments. Back then, updates usually meant an exciting expansion of the epic storyline, often with a new zone on the map coming available. Expansions, on the other hand, included a level cap increase, a new explorable landscape, new quests, and a fresh raid. Expansions typically required a purchase, even for VIP members, while updates were rolled out as part of the expansion package. Evendom was a breath of fresh air after the dreary, desolate zone of Angmar. It was wonderful to see grass again. However, the commute was dreadful. This was before the days of boatmasters, so Evendom earned the nickname Everswim because crossing the lake took forever. You had to plan your trips to the west shore carefully, knowing you wouldn't be back until you finished everything on that side. And who could forget Guy playing music in Tinadur? He's been playing the same tune for 17 years. I can still hear it in my head. Arr. The day I rode into Rivendell for the first time, I was buzzing with anticipation. I knew I was about to see Lord Elrond's house, the last homely house east of the sea. The ride did not disappoint, and seeing Rivendell in the game for the first time sent chills down my spine. After battling my way through the Trollshaws, setting foot in Rivendell felt like coming home after a long absence. Meeting Bilbo in Rivendell and being sent on a quest to collect his buttons from Goblin Town was a grand adventure. I loved how they paid homage to Bilbo's story by allowing players to explore Goblin Town. If you ever find yourself in Goblin Town, it's an absolute must to have a map ready. Game's map is not too detailed and you can easily get lost in that cavern. At level, it's a tough place to navigate with enemies around every turn, so bring along some friends because this area is not soloable. The Mines of Moria, launched in February 2009, marked a major expansion. The level cap was increased to 60. It introduced 6 new epic books and 3 new regions, Eregion, Moria, and Lothlorien. 2 new classes, the Runekeeper and the Warden, were added, along with new traits, virtues, skills, and class quests. The anticipation of entering Moria grew massive when the Eregion zone was released. Finding the entrance to Eregion was tricky because it was hidden, and it took me a hot minute to figure out how to get there. We didn't have swift travel with mithril coins back then, so you had to ride to each stable to unlock it yourself. Eregion was different, rich in lore, and full of things to do. The 2 3-man instances, School and Library, became central to our gameplay. Even today, running School and Library for weekly rewards remains a staple. These instances were exceptionally challenging because they required a balanced team, a tank, damage dealer, and a healer. Dealing with poison was crucial. Having skills for poison removal or potions was a must due to the intense poison bleed. Back then, completing one of these instances took us a good hour, but now, with a max level team, it's a quick 5-minute run. Reaching the doors of Moria felt truly magical, introducing us to the concept of legendary weapons. The initial legendary weapon system was a bit cumbersome but effective, allowing for customization. I personally prefer our current legendary weapon system for its enhanced power, control, and customization options tailored to different playstyles. But I digress. Moria was vast, featuring 9 distinct zones that we explored alongside dwarves. The storyline was rich and immersive, with a sense of danger lurking around every corner. My stomach always lurched when I approached the edge, fearing an accidental fall to my death. We helped the dwarves establish a bustling hub in the 21st Hall, which quickly became everyone's everyone's favorite spot. Crafting stations, the auction house, and the vault were conveniently located mere steps away from each other, making life easier than ever before. The 12-man turtle raid was our ultimate testing ground. This battle used to stretch for at least 30 minutes, and bringing along a captain was essential to buff group and ensure survival. The 6-man instance of the Grand Stairs became pivotal for success. It offered numerous deeds to boost stats and essential components for upgrading loot. Any time of day, you could always find someone eager to run the Grand Stairs with you. But the true beast of Moria was the Watcher, cousin to Helshkim. This was a mechanic-heavy fight where you had to dodge breath attacks, battle tentacles on unseen platforms, and slay those tentacles in the correct sequence to activate boss's head and defeat it. Fun was had by all. Though as a Guardian tank back then, I found my role a bit mundane, just standing there while Helshkim beat on me while everyone else did killing. By the time the leaves of Lothoria and update arrived, we were all yearning for fresh air after spending months underground. It was a welcome sight to behold blue skies. What made Lothlorien special was that you couldn't simply stroll into Karis Galadon to meet Galadriel. No, you had to earn the elves' trust before they granted you entry into their golden woods. I could lose myself for hours in those golden woods. The graphics were stunning, immersing you in an ancient part of Middle-earth. The elves were hospitable, but man was it a challenge to learn how to navigate through the city. There were different vertical level of flat with different ways to traverse. You could climb ladders or run up ramps. I still will get lost to this day in that city because of how complex it is designed. Unless you know exactly how to get where you're going, you'll get turned around and lost. When the Instance Hall of Crafting was unveiled, my kinship had grown to the point where we were forming our own progression group. This became my addition. The raid leader took me in at level for Hall of Crafting. He tanked, there was a hunter, and I was healing. He challenged me to survive the 6-man instance as a 3-man team. If I could handle that, I'd earn my place in the progression team. It was a sink or swim moment, and I swam. I've been raiding ever since. DN remains my all-time favorite raid. It marked my first foray beyond T1, progressing all the way to T3, the pinnacle back then. The new mechanic introduced was tricky. Hitting a boss's shield would actually heal it, so everyone had to know their skills well to avoid inadvertently boosting its health. The tank had the critical role of calling when to stop damage. Of course, there was always that one person who missed the memo, causing the boss to heal up. We'd laugh it off, gently reprimand them, and carry on. Always a memorable adventure. The Siege of Mirkwood expansion was truly epic. The level cap soared to 65, introducing new crafted gear and allowing legendary items to gain an additional 5 levels. Getting into Mirkwood proper meant finishing the challenging epic storyline of the starter zone first. It was so tough that soloing it upon release was nearly impossible. I remember the server being packed with players scrambling to complete it, causing intense lag. My friends and I mastered it swiftly, keeping ults ready to assist our kinmates whenever they needed a hand. Mirkwood exudes an eerie atmosphere filled with ghosts and skeletons. It's not my favorite. Creepy isn't my thing. Developers definitely succeeded in making it unsettling. Mirkwood introduced skirmishes, a new type of instance where you could deploy skirmish pets. It was a grind to gather enough marks to level these pets effectively. Back then, we'd stack herbalists for the healing prowess in 12-person skirmishes. No need for a dedicated healer, just tank damage and burn through everything. Sword Halls debuted as an arena-style fight, throwing you into a single room with multiple bosses. You had to master nuances like positioning on bone piles or blood puddles to survive. Even today, Sword Halls remains a favorite 3-man instance, and it scales well and is one of the fastest way to power level a character all the way up to 150 with XP boosts and a dedicated team. I could chat endlessly about each instance and raid, but we'd need a whole month for that, so I'll skip a few for now. If I missed your favorite, drop a comment below and let me know. When we started progressing through the Bard Guldor, I made the switch from healing to tanking as a Guardian. Turns out tanking suits me perfectly. It matches my personality, and my Guardian was my very first character after all. However, leveling Guardians used to be a grind because they lacked damage output, but with the recent rework of the Red Lines Guardians, they now rival champions in DPS capabilities, making them a versatile class. In BG, caution was key. Each mob had to be strategically pulled as we ascended tower. There was no reckless rushing or grabbing. Pathing mob required us to use line of sight cleverly. Finally, reaching the top meant facing a Nazgul, the lieutenant of Dol Guldur. We spent countless hours wiping here, deciphering mechanics and devising strategies to overcome them. After Mirkwood, Enerdwaith brought us back to Regian, where the story headed south. south with the Grey Company, who were following to aid Aragorn, but for obvious reasons could not go through Moria. The Rise of Isengard expansion raised the level cap to 75 and introduced the crucial stat finesse, reducing monster resistance. Stat consolidation simplified things, introducing familiar concepts like resistance rating, tactical mitigation, and critical hit rating. New regions like Dunlap, Gap of Rohan, and Nan-Kuranur expanded the map, offering fresh challenges and quests. Continuing south with the Grey Company, we stopped to lend aid wherever we could. That is, until we fell into Saruman's clutches. Enslaved in Saruman's pit, escape was not an option. If the Fellowship had ventured south, they too might have faced a similar fate. Initially, being trapped in Isengard meant you had no way to travel out. But it did add a layer of immersion to the challenge. You just had to make sure your bags were empty before you went in. During this time, we tackled two formidable raids, Dragog and later the Tower of Orthanc. Each posed unique challenges demanding teamwork and strategic thinking. Dragog was an exhilarating 12-man raid featuring the game's first dragon encounter. Navigating Dragog's lair was crucial to survival. Misstep meant facing his fiery breath and certain death. And what's a dragon without a horde? Defeating Dragog meant exciting loot, including coveted housing items. The Tower of Orthanc raid was a marvel, boasting multiple wings, each with its own set of intricate mechanics. The grand finale atop the tower against Saruman himself was a test of coordination and strategy, requiring precise timing and color matching sequences to deliver the final blow. It was an intense and thrilling challenge that often spanned multiple days to conquer. The Riders of Rohan expansion, launched in October 2012, raised the level cap to 85. We retraced Fellowship's path through Galadriel's guidance, journeying through the Easternment region of East Rohan. This expansion introduced 6 expand zones: the Wold, the East Wall, Norcrofts and Washvale, Eves of Fangorn, and the Sudcrofts, each boasting its own detailed map, making it the largest landscape addition to date. One of the most revolutionary additions was mounted combat, allowing us to engage in battles while astride our horses for the first time. The strategic advantage of fighting from horseback, where we could deal significantly more damage than on foot, added a thrilling new layer to gameplay. While the excitement of mounted combat has waned in recent updates due to a stagnant war steed stats, the initial thrill of charging into battle on horseback remains a cherished memory. Highbolt introduced a new type of daily and weekly quests focused on rebuilding a village, offering valuable gear as reward. While it was a grind we all undertook eagerly at the time, its time-consuming nature has since led many players to skip over it in favor of more immediate pursuits. Perhaps a video revisiting Highbolt's rise from ruins to a thriving town would be a fascinating journey down memory lane. During this era, we also faced 2 significant raids, the Fires of Smog and the Battle of Erebor. While these raids were once pivotal, their prominence has faded over time, slipping into obscurity even among seasoned players. Helm's Deep, launched in fall 2013, marked a pivotal moment as we delved into one of the most iconic battles of Middle-earth. With a level cap raised to 95, we found ourselves defending the formidable Helm's Deep while journeying through Western Rohan, from aiding Edoras in their preparations to assisting the people of West Rohan against Isengard's onslaught. Every step felt like a march towards destiny. The introduction of epic battles was a game changer, offering roles as engineers, officers, or vanguards. Engineers could deploy traps and wield siege weapons. Officers commanded their Rohirrim with strategic orders, and vanguards engaged in frontline combat with powerful combination attacks. Who wouldn't want to hurl boulders from a catapult? Although epic battles like retaking Pelargir still thrive today for their rewards and leveling benefits, their appeal waned among endgame players in recent days. Considered the expansions, Raid, Deeping Wall didn't see as much action as anticipated, overshadowed by more efficient solo farming for rewards. This shift hinted at a growing disparity between newer and seasoned players, reflecting the evolving challenges of maintaining a balanced gaming experience in an expanding world like Middle-earth. Following Helm's Deep, we endured 4-year wait until the next major expansion, navigating through multiple updates instead. The breaking of Isengard reunited us with Gandalf and the remaining Fellowship, confronting Pippin and Merry amid the aftermath of war. Cleaning up Isengard was a brief respite before we rallied before the Pass of Dead. Venturing through the eerie Paths of Dead for the first time felt daunting, with every shadow hinting at impending spectral attacks. It was a journey filled with suspense, especially when traveling alone. Yet, reaching Gondor at the level cap of 100 introduced the new Essence system, an enabling deeper customization of armor. This newfound control over our builds was empowering, albeit accompanied by the grind to unlock these enhancements. Upon reaching level 100, a summons to Dol Amroth awaited, where we assisted in fortifying the city across its 8 districts. Each district offered unique battles and rewards, emphasizing the strategic importance of each task. While some now bypass this grind in favor for craft gear, the journey through Gondor remains a testament to our love of Middle-earth. The arrival of Bjornings and Gondor of Flame update brought new beginnings in the Vales of Anduin and their ancestral home. The addition of Central Gondor, including Ringel Vale, Durin, Ernal, Lebanon, and Pelargir, expanded our horizons with fresh challenges and quests, enriching our adventures in this ever-evolving world. In February 2015, the introduction of roving threats brought formidable world bosses to Angmar, Vorshal, Western Gondor, and Misty Mountains. These encounters guaranteed unique rewards, making them a hotbed for acquiring top-tier legendary weapons. Players frequented these battles driven by the quest for new allies to enhance their prime weapons by extracting essential legacy. May 2015 marked the advent of legendary item imbuement, a game-changing feature allowing players to permanently transform their legendary weapons. Once imbued, these weapons were powerful, but they no longer required reforging or reconfiguring, locking in chosen legacies permanently. This decision marked a shift from the initial concept of crafting uniquely personalized weapons. While the imbuement system was later abandoned for our current system, its impact was profound. The expansion also introduced new zones: Upper Lebanon, Lossarnoch, South Ithilien, and Osgiliath. Despite my passion for raiding, this period coincided with significant personal challenges as I embarked on a new job while pursuing graduate studies, leaving little time for online gaming, a source of regret during that season. Health issues further complicated matters, temporarily halting my raiding activities. Thankfully, this phase eventually passed. Navigating through Osgiliath became the critical path to reach Minas Tirith, as there were no stable routes available yet. Osgiliath, entrenched in conflict between Mordor and Minas Tirith, became a daunting battleground we had conquered to progress. Finally arriving at Minas Tirith felt monumental. Scaling the city's height offered breathtaking vistas and a storyline filled with intrigue, from aiding in the city's preparation for battle to participating in the epic clash. Both within and outside its walls, the experience was nothing short of immense. My earliest memories of Minas Tirith are entwined with my brother's presence. Together, we bravely navigated Osgiliath, celebrating our arrival in the city with explorations and shared adventures. However, tragedy struck when my brother was diagnosed with liver cancer, prompting us to set aside our LOTRO quests to focus on his health and family support. During that time, the Mordor expansion quietly arrived in 2017, but my focus was elsewhere. It was a year of profound loss, as my brother, my trusted raiding buddy, and shortly after my father both passed away. It was undoubtedly the hardest period of my life. Middle-earth, once a place of joy and adventure with my brother, now echoed with memories that brought tears each time I logged in. I couldn't bring myself to play for almost 2 years after my brother's passing. When I finally returned, I made a significant decision in his honor. I moved servers from Arkenstone to Brandywine, seeking a fresh start. Starting anew with a different character and joining a new kinship, I retraced my steps from the beginning, leaving my original tunes all on Arkenstone, where my brother and I last played together. To this day, my first ever character still wears the same outfit he wore the day my brother stopped playing, a tribute to his memory. My return to Middle-earth coincided with the release of Minas Morgul, where I found LOTRO had evolved significantly. Mastering the leveling strategies quickly, I geared up swiftly and joined a progression group eager to tackle Remorchant. The raid leader welcomed me warmly, and for a while I found solace and happiness once more among my LOTRO friends. Minas Morgul raised the level cap to 130, introducing new challenges and adventures that kept me engaged. Remorchant stands out as one of my top 3 favorite raids. It's tough, demanding precise coordination, and it was my introduction to the Prime plugin, a game changer that enhanced my raiding experience tenfold. Battling Shelob at the end was thrilling, an epic encounter with a foe steeped in lore that I thoroughly enjoyed. The Fate of Gundabad expansion launched amidst ongoing challenges of the pandemic in November 2021, bringing a level cap increase to 140 and introducing the new Brawler class. The Brawler, clad in heavy armor, delivers powerful punches, building up metal to unleash devastating flurry attacks. Renowned as formidable single-target tank, it brings unique buffs crucial for any fellowship. Gundabad also introduced a revamped legendary item system, relinquishing the complex imbued allies for player-driven customization once again. While initially daunting, mastering the system provided unparalleled adaptability and gearing up for various boss mechanics. Yet, acquiring gold traceries remains a challenge, a frustrating bottleneck that I hope the developers address soon. Gundabad itself did not disappoint. Its vastness echoed the grandeur of Moria, spanning 7 intricate zones. Zones like Deep's Grave, with its multiple vertical layers, offered mind-bending challenges, engaging deeply with the storyline. I embarked on every quest with at least one character. Collecting stones for the pocket item, essential for a while, felt more like a chore than a game. Yet, it was a task I accomplished, grateful for the ability to share items across characters. In October 2021, my friends and I launched Brandywipe, a Discord server dedicated to the Brandywine community. It quickly became a hub where kinships converged to exchange strategies, resources, and organize epic raids together. When the Hidden Horde of Apnankara raid finally dropped, I was more than prepared. After regaining my raiding form, I had the privilege of leading my own group, a band of gamers I had journeyed with over the past 2 years. Our goal? Conquer Hidden Horde Tier 4. It wasn't a quick victory. It took us a challenging 6 months, but in that time, we didn't just conquer mechanics, we forged lasting bonds and deepened our understanding of each other and the game. Hidden Horde pushed us to our limits with its intricate mechanics and unforgiving enraged timers. As the years have unfolded from LOTRO's humble beginnings in Karn Doom, gamers have evolved. We've honed our skills, optimized our gear, and fine-tuned our rosters to tackle increasingly ambitious challenges set forth by the developers. Hidden Horde exemplified this evolution, a demand and resilience and strategy that rivaled even the toughest raids of the past. The decision to lock raid gear behind Tier 3, though, created a rift. Casual raiders struggled to clear Tier 2, leading many to abandon LOTRO altogether. The disparity in rewards exacerbated frustrations and drove a significant exodus from the game. To compound matters, the following year brought a drought in endgame content, with the focus shifting to the new starter zone before the shadow. This decision left the endgame community parched for new challenges, prompting many to seek other gaming adventures while waiting for new content to drop. Developers pivoted towards the Doom of Kara's Gellibrand skirmish, tying into Amazon's Rings of Power series. Shed light on this strategy, this alignment aimed to capitalize on the show's success, immersing players in the lore where the rings were forged. In response to player feedback, the return to Karn Doom instance clusters were introduced. The community rejoiced at the chance to revisit legendary Karn Doom, anticipating new landscapes to explore. Instead, we received 3 instances, 2 3-mans, 1 6-man, and a raid, each plagued with bugs from a rushed development cycle. While we acquired new jewelry from these instances, the lure of Hidden Horde gear remained undeniable, still reigning as the pinnacle of loot to acquire in LOTRO's endgame. Then came Umbar. It felt like a refreshing break from the dry spell. We were finally setting sail across the sea. Umbar introduced not just new landscapes, but also a brand new class, the Mariner. Instantly smitten, I found its complexity captivating. Mastering it in Tier 4 content was a thrill. It blended damage dealing with support seamlessly. Think of it as a red captain, but in my book, even better. You get to hurl fire bombs, breathe fire, sport a parrot on your shoulder, and of course, embody the spirit of a Corsair. The level cap soared to 150 with Umbar, marking where we stand today. Being an island, Umbar unveiled a completely fresh landscape. The waves crashing on sandy beaches were spectacle in themselves. Engaging with new creatures like crocodiles and lions was a breath of fresh air, and the vibrant colors were unlike anything Middle-earth had shown us before. It truly felt like stepping into a whole new world. But by the time that Umbar raised, our stats had bloated. Our morales were in the millions, and something had to be done. So right before Umbar Bearable was released, we went through a stat crunch, which meant when your morale was 1 million, it would now be 5,000. It took a community quite a bit to get used to the new numbers, but once we had it under the belt, it was business as usual. Umbar Bearable rivaled only by Minas Tirith in scale, sprawled with endless hours of content. The recent update Beneath the Surface delved even deeper, expanding the adventures underground. Learning from past feedback, the devs fine-tuned the Umbar raid depth of Magda Corbo. Tier 1 eased players with the story mode, but it was still challenging if you were wearing landscape gear. As we geared up through grind, crafting, and instances, we gradually grew stronger, pushing into higher tiers. I'm proud to have conquered tier 4 of Warbow, my personal pinnacle. Reflecting on my 17-year journey with LOTRO, we've come a long way from those early days. Looking ahead, I hope the dev delve deeper into stories, landscapes, and content. They craft expansive worlds, yet sometimes the quests and stories feel underutilized. Tuning down raid difficulty could also invite more players to reach tier 5 and endgame content, benefiting the community as a whole. Thanks for watching and happy hunting!